Audio. It's muted. It's no audio, bro.
All right, peace. What's going on? I'm trying to I was trying to get the video going, and like usual, I forgot to hit the audio. But nevertheless, we got our esteemed senatorial candidate, Senator Tamara Johnson-Shealy, in the building tonight. We're gonna have a powerful discussion. Welcome to the Be the Power platform. It is your host, Brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. I got my brother Dr. Logic Supreme in the building. My brother Josh is in the building. Hit the like button, family. Click share. This is going to be a very, very powerful discussion. We have our very first senatorial candidate, ADOS senatorial candidate, somebody that's on the ticket running for a seat to represent us in the Congress, a reparationist running for office right now. So if I had the machine queued up, I would give the applause. So I'm gonna just do it myself. It is an honor to have you on, sister. Family, make sure y'all sharing this video out. I want to start this off by having our sister introduce herself. But I want to give a little background of where we're at, and so far as how we get to this point. I met Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy a few months back. I met her twice, actually. One in Atlanta. She was holding a meeting in Atlanta, and then she came out to Athens, Georgia. I was at both places supporting. I knew then that this sister had a different type of will, the will of a fighter. And I think, and I'm gonna, like, y'all know me, I keeps it 100% official. I think I may have underestimated this sister and kind of written her off, and that was the wrong thing to do. And when we interviewed Brother Jacory last week, and he mentioned Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy, it was like a light bulb that went off in my head. And I was like, oh. And then Brother Logic, he got on and he contacted the sister. And I just want to give a shout out to my brother Logic. And, you know, I just want to share this real quick. You know, my brother and I started off as adversaries, right? And we became really close due to a conversation that I was having when I was trying to start up my own political party. I knew that I didn't know enough, but I knew what we needed as a people to get this thing done. And my brother Logic called in and he just broke it down, man. And I was like, that's the brother right there that I'm looking for to lead the political movement, while I could get to focus on the things that I need to focus on with what I'm trying to do over here with what I'm doing. And I had the conversation with Logic over the past couple of days about our sister, and he like really, you know, Jacory, he reignited the fuse for our sister, and Brother Logic helped fan the flame. So I want to give a shout out to my brother, Dr. Logic. We are doing politics over here. We're not giving up. We are fighting to the bitter end. And with that, I want to introduce our sister, Tamara Johnson-Shealy, so that she can introduce herself, give us a little background about herself, tell us about who Tamara Johnson-Shealy is and why she's taking on this fight.
I want to thank you guys, first of all, for having me on your broadcast. I'm delighted to be here. You guys look handsome, by the way.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
But those of you that don't know who I am Tamara Johnson-Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I am ADOS. Let me say that again. I am ADOS. I wear it very proudly. I speak about it very boldly. This movement is the truth. And I can tell you that this movement has been the wind underneath my wings. I came out of the gate, you guys. This is not my first run for office. This is not my second run for office. This is not my third run for office. This is my fourth run for office here in the great state of Georgia. I ran in 2014, 2016, 2018, and now 2020, I'm running again. I come from the beauty and barber industry. For those of you that don't know my background, I was a professional myself for 18 years, and I owned a salon for 10 years. So I know the beauty and barber industry in and out. I started watching it politically, and that was that ignited me to find out more and get involved more. I ran in 2014 against a staunch Republican. Nobody could beat this man. Very entrenched district. He had been in power forever. Even Republicans couldn't get no more than about 20-some-odd% against him. Came out of the gate, no name candidate. And people don't know, they see my glory, but you don't know my story. When I came out of the gate in 2014, guys, I didn't have no money, no name record. Nobody knew who the hell I was. There was actually, where did she come from? Who is she? I won the primary. I actually had a primary in 2014 and won that primary. But little did people know that when I won that primary, this is a calling on my life. You know, I'm very spiritual. And I didn't just jump out there. This was something that God had to work on me to actually do. And I had to be obedient. And I was obedient. And that's how I got into this race, my first race. But when I ran, I became homeless. Most people don't know that. I actually wrote about it. I wrote a book that's called Faith, Purpose, and Politics, Running the Race of My Life. Because in 2014, when I came out of the gate, you got it, my brother. That's it. When I came out of the gate, I became homeless, following what God called me to do. But God had a plan, because even when I was homeless, I lived in an extended stay hotel. I did not leave that district because I knew I couldn't leave the district. So I stayed in that extended stay hotel inside of the district. This would happen. That's the devil right there. Y'all see that? Now, I'm gonna let you jump in. Let me cut these phones off. Hold on one second.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is play your inspirational video, and then when you come back in, we'll pick it up. Okay, while my brother Logic is queuing that back up, yes, I did meet our sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy in Atlanta. I did get a copy of her book, Faith, Purpose, and Politics. It is an excellent story. You know, it's personal and it's real, and it is a testament to this sister's will as a fighter, not just for herself, but as her people. So we're gonna play our sister's inspirational video while we wait for our sister to jump back on.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Let me just say this before I press play, man. That is what ADOS candidacy looks and sounds like, y'all. That's what I want to vote for. That's what we just saw, just a glimpse of it in that introduction, is what ADOS candidacy looks like and sounds like when it's real, when it's organic, and when it's from the soul and the core. We just getting started, people. I researched the sister. I'm on her website, and I'm checking her YouTube videos out, and I'm watching her campaign history. And I come across this video, and this video just touched me, and we had to play it back. I want y'all to hear it. Like, the video touched me, and it was real special. We want to share that with y'all.
Excellent.
That was outstanding,
That was
man.
a powerful, powerful video. And it is ADOS. It is the story of our people. And I absolutely love that.
Yo, did you hold on? Hold on now. That video was powerful. Now that you don't even see, it's so powerful. If you ADOS, you don't even got to ask what inspired that video. You
Right.
put your own story. You already feel connected. When I saw that, I just was like, wow, I've never seen a campaign candidate with a campaign video like that. That was all about me and my history, all about me and my story. You know what I mean? I never seen that before. That was so touching to me. It made me still feel so proud to be able to live in this moment of history where there is a self-identified ADOS candidate running for United States Congress. I feel like I'm in the Reconstruction era all over again. And now I'm a reparationist, and we got a reparationist running for office. This is history, people. So I'm gonna stop talking, and we're gonna throw it back to the host and let him do what he do. And sister, it's your night. Let's talk.
Oh, definitely. What I want to do, I want to let the audience know that's listening in. If you have questions, just hold your questions, and towards, near halfway through the midway point of our interview, we're going to ask you to put your questions in the chat. We got the sister here now. She can clear up anything that anybody has to ask about her run and her candidacy and what she's pushing for and what she's fighting for. I mean, her video and the website, which we're going to get through, it looks as if it's clear to me, but it might not be clear to most. So we're going to get into that as well. Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy, please continue.
So I was telling you about 2014. So yeah, I became homeless, and my children and I lived in an extended stay hotel because I knew I couldn't leave the district and I didn't want them to leave their school. And I was in this race. So we lived in that extended stay hotel for 3 months in the middle of me campaigning. But I did come out of the gate. I did the damn thing. I ran, got to the general election in November of that year and got 37% as a first time candidate. I felt very accomplished. I knew I had to run against this man again. God wouldn't let it go away from me. So I came back in 2016, ran that race again, 43.8%. Now I knew I was going to take him out this third time. So I got back in that race again 3 times, got to 2018, and the Democratic Party, somebody, somewhere, a white woman gets in this race against me. This district that I live in is affluent, predominantly white. And they felt like she was more electable. She looks like the district, quote unquote. And then I had some white allies that were very honest with me and told me what people were saying. And basically they weren't going to vote for a white woman over me. So it was very racial.
So
I knew I would
vote for you over a white woman.
They wasn't going to vote for me over the white.
Okay.
They was going to vote for the white woman, period. And they told me. So they wanted to kind of prepare me for the fact that, Tamara, these white people are not going to vote for you. We got you. But she beat me by about maybe 18%. So she had a large majority of the votes in the district.
And you, just real quick, you said this was the Democratic Party that did this to you.
Somebody and some operatives, I'll just use the word operative. Somebody in the party brought this woman in. So nevertheless, there were Democrats that were elected officials, that were, leaders that supported her in my face. They didn't care. They thought I was going to go away after this, but damn it, I did not. So I didn't win, but she went on to win. Her name is Sally Harrell. She now sits in the Georgia legislature, and she went on to win because Stacey Abrams carried the Black vote in 2018. So she didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to have a Black agenda. She just had to show up because she knew that the white people were already behind her. And then the Black people was going to vote for her because all they saw was the D and Stacey Abrams at the top of the ticket. And that's exactly what happened. It was a play it was a good play. She won. She didn't have to do nothing, just be white and show up, and she won. So she now, like I say, sits in the Georgia legislature, but God had a bigger plan. Go back to school. So I went back to school. So I was accepted to Emory. So I now hold a law degree from Emory University. I have my master's in law. And God put it back in my spirit to jump into this race. I was hesitant, and I can tell you, I came to ADOS conference, and I knew in my spirit then that I was going to run. I knew I was feeling like I'm going to run. So when I hosted at the ADOS conference, I hosted for other candidates because we all needed to know each other. I mean, this is a movement where we have to be connected, and we have to be very supportive of one another, because people outside of us are learning, but we understand this, that to the extent that we have to be our own, we have to support each other. So that's why I hosted the 2 events that I did at conference. And here I am, I've been running since then. We're almost a year in, and here I am. And to hear you say, and I'm glad that you admitted it. You said, you had kind of written me off. I don't know where I guess I do know. I do know where a lot of this is coming from. And it saddens me that, Jacory and I have been out here. Jacory won his race. I am so proud of that brother. But this is, running for office is not it's not easy. People don't know, like I said, you want my glory, but you don't know my story. You don't know that, I have the scars and the receipts with this. So I'm out here, and I really need ADOS to stick and stay with me. Like, don't give up on this race. This is I'm your first candidate. I'm your first national candidate. We'll have a lot of lessons. No matter what, we're going to have a lot of lessons that we'll take into other candidacies. And I never want to see another ADOS candidate have to struggle the way I have struggled through this candidacy. I mean, it takes hundreds of thousands at minimum to run a statewide race, at minimum hundreds of thousands of dollars. All around me, millions of dollars are being raised. When I'm begging for, like last week, I went down to South Georgia and I was begging for $1,000, because it's like, guys, I need $1,000. I'm short. I'm doing all I can. And when I'm begging for $1,000, the energy that it takes to do this, money can't be an issue.
That's right.
I'll stop there. I don't want to get on my soapbox.
Oh, that's absolutely okay. That's what it's all about tonight. Get on it. So we're going to help you. We're going to get on it too. So what we're talking about is this moment right now, a historic moment, the first national ADOS reparationist candidate. And not only just in sound and in talking, we're going to, throughout this program, we're going to show, we talking about agenda, right? Who has a Black agenda? Later on in the show, we're going to talk about a Black agenda.
Specific ADOS agenda.
Talk about specificity, right? So if you, my thing for specifically, if you live in the state of Georgia, anywhere in the state of Georgia, right? If you live in the state of Georgia and you're a self-identified ADOS individual, this is our moment to get behind something real. This is our moment to get behind history, and this is going to decide what side was you on. Now we're going to make history one way or the other. It's going to reflect what side was you on. You know what I mean? So were you one of those type of people when the first quote unquote Negroes were running for office that was like, what them Negroes doing? They don't got no business doing that. Are you going to be one of them, or are you going to be one of the ones who had faith and had vision and had courage enough to get behind justice? Because that's what this thing is about. When we out here to go, like Brother Jacory said it so beautifully when we had him on, he said, I don't just want to be able to write the laws, I want to write the laws. And that was so powerful. But if we don't have self-identified, full-throated reparationists in the race, all we're going to be doing is begging the problems for the solution. What we're trying to do is present the solution for the problems. Y'all out here wanting us to negotiate with the problems and compromise with the problems and beg the problems to incorporate an agenda for us and incorporate a policy for us. But you would already know that they're the problem when you go and do your research and you don't see no agenda already incorporated in their policies and issues and the things that they care about. They're letting you know their candidacy ain't about you. And if you don't see something specifically for you, you got to ask yourself, why am I voting for this person? If that question can't be answered, you shouldn't vote for them. So now I'm gonna pull something up real quick. Let's talk about issues, right? But before I get into that, the sister, the future state senator mentioned something very important, right? She said, money can't be what you're worried about with this thing, because we got to have that. We have to have all the money. Your support can't just be, in the heart or in the house. Your support has to be outside the house. You got to support this ADOS thing, both public and private, not just in the private can't be a whisper party. You got to go out there. I'm a registered volunteer I register to be a volunteer your time, donate your time and your help. And if you got some money, you should donate it. We donate to a lot of things. How committed and how serious are you in what you can contribute to transformational justice? Are you just really in it in your mind and you don't want to have it in your reality? I don't want to have a reparationist imagination. I want to have a reparationist reality. So you got to do real things to make that manifest, right? So I want to go. I'm gonna share a screen, or while I pull this up, let's let some of the other brothers jump on.
Definitely, brother Josh, brother Ali. If y'all greet the sister, have any questions for her, before we get into pulling up the websites, because we got some things we're gonna get into tonight.
No, this is the first time I had a face-to-face, so I just wanted to say, welcome to the Be the Power program, and I'm honored to have you on this. I remember last year watching you campaigning, and I was like, man, I really hope a lot of people get behind her, because it's one thing when people have to capitulate to talking about reparations, they kind of get dragged into it and they try to avoid it. But you were like the only person I saw that was leading with it, that was speaking on it, and I feel like you're a pioneer for ADOS candidates. And I just hope that when people, like Logic said, when people look back on this thing, that they're going to be on the right side of history as far as supporting those initial candidates, because I'm looking at it like, all right, if we don't support them, then what will be the motivation for more ADOS candidates to want to endure something like that? We should want, the whole purpose of being a pioneer is so you can kind of pave the road, so you can chop down the trees, so you can, take your machete and chop down the big weeds and stuff like that, and lay some grass, lay some foundation, so other people can come behind you. And I think by us supporting that, that's kind of like us chopping down some of the trees, So I just want to say I'm proud of what you're doing as far as for the whole totality of the group. And I would look.
Thank you.
I would just say greetings, sister, and definitely welcome to the platform with us. I was looking forward to you being on here for a long time. And I will also say that I'm proud of what you're doing, very proud of what you're doing, and being a trailblazer. And it's going to be, obviously, the first person to do something is you're going to encounter trouble or adversities that other people may not have experienced, because this is uncharted territory in a lot of ways for approaching it from an ADOS perspective. So I just want to say that I'm proud of you, and I see I see your strength and your perseverance in all of this. And I'm with you, and I'm going to donate to your campaign. I'll just say that.
Thank you.
I'll say that.
Thank you.
And I want to say this tonight. If some people using the super chat tonight, I'm going to ask everybody that would donate to Be the Power tonight to donate to Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy's campaign. Tonight we're not taking no donations tonight, family. If you were going to donate to this platform tonight, I would like for you, if the moderators can drop the sister's link in the chat. Everybody that's going to donate to this platform tonight, we're asking you, please donate to our sister so that she could continue to run her campaign. I've definitely put footwork in for this sister. She sent me some flyers a few weeks back. I went around putting them on cars all over my part of Georgia. I'm waiting for some more now. And my daughters and I, we're going to go out and we're going to go canvas. And we're going to do everything that we need to do to bring awareness to this sister and her plight. And I want to share something with you all real quick before my brother Logic comes in. And this is from out of Dr. Darity's book, Dr. Darity and A. Kirsten Mullins' book, from here to equality. He says, for many years, pro-slavery majority legislators, commonplace in the South, have been prevalent in the North. Declaring oneself an abolitionist during the early decades of the 19th century was tantamount to political suicide. Advocates were roundly and publicly denounced. The tar of the quote-unquote abolitionist label could mean a loss of public support and severely limit a politician's ability to work with his colleagues, even behind the scenes. It certainly would undermine any political actor's credibility. But now the abolitionists were no longer the laughingstock of the national media or the political arena. Now they were beginning to look like wise sages who had crafted a plan to deliver the country from destruction. And what Dr. Darity says there, we echo here that this reparations conversation, while it is popular, some politicians may look at this as political suicide. And we're going to get into some of the opponents of our sister to see if they have reparations on their platform, if they are reparationists. But just like the abolitionists back in those days won out because it was going to basically save the nation, today it is our job to save this nation from the destruction that is happening right now. And that is by atoning for America's original sin, which is slavery. And the way that we atone for that sin is by paying reparations, or creating a whole package that includes payments, reparations to America's descendants of slavery. With that, I want to pass it back to my brother Logic.
Oh man, absolutely. So two things real quick, right? What we're doing is teaching folks and educating people on how to be the power, right? So without sisters like Tamara, we just can't do it, right? We have to have that. We have to have that. We have to have that emulated in myself and you and the followers. We have to have these examples so that we can duplicate them. But when it comes to the funding, we have to have a political imagination to these things, right? And we can't be a people who are so quick to come up with excuses. We're the most creative people. And I know we don't have no money. I know the data. If you've been following the program, you know we know the data, right? So what is our people's history though? We've always been able to do what? Make a way out of no way. You understand? So where does that make a way out of no way attitude went with everybody? How did we become the people who tore down chattel slavery, tore down Jim Crow, got the Voting Rights Act passed? Now all of a sudden we scared of some adversity when we are trying to get to the actual finish line and win the game and get some real justice? No, we have to be as courageous as our forebears were when they was fighting against their plight of their day. Reparations is the plight for our day. Now, you see what we just did. We set a supreme example tonight. Our host, Brother Naheem, said we've invited her on our platform. And we know there's a lot of ADOS platforms out there. And we said all the donations that would usually come to us tonight, donate them to the sister. You see how easy that was? That wasn't hard, right? It didn't hurt us. My lights ain't going to cut out because we did that. The brother's lights ain't going to cut out, and we're going to be able to still do a show next Tuesday. You understand? It didn't cost us nothing. Just a little bit of good-hearted and kind-heartedness. You understand? Donate what you want to do. That $35 that just came through. If we're going to donate that to the sister, you know what I'm saying? Please, if we're going to repeat it again, don't donate to us tonight. Donate. The link is in the chat. Donate to the future Senator Tamara, right? You see that? That can be duplicated. If you have a platform, this is another call. I'm putting the call out there. If you have an ADOS platform, we're going to show you how to get in contact with this sister's campaign team. We're going to show you how to get in contact with this sister, invite the sister on, and do what we just did. Call from as many donations as you can and get it to the sister. We should not be ADOS and have a candidate talking about she had to beg for $1,000 to get to travel and do work for our justice. That is a shame. That's a shame. We should be hurrying up. How many dollars? We got hundreds of thousands of self-identified, I would say at bare minimum, We got 70,000 nationwide ADOSers that tune in to ADOS broadcasting platform weekly, routinely, religiously, all throughout the country. All we all have to do tonight and any other night is just give her $1. Just donate $1 and the sister can carry on and fight the good fight. So now I just want to say that about, the possibilities that can become when we just start using our imaginations a little bit better. You know what I mean? Stop being so quick to self-deprecate and say we can't do and we don't have and what we don't, because we ain't never really had much, but we've always been able to make some huge things out of nothing, right? So we talking about specificity and politics being an exchange and not a gift, right? So I want to go over to our sister's website. I want to share this real quick, right? I saw a couple things, and I'm only gonna touch a couple things, and then I'm gonna throw it back to you, Ab. I know you want to touch on a couple things, and then we're gonna do some.
I'm gonna let the sister finish, telling her story, after you get finished, and then we'll get into, I want to ask some questions from out the book. We're gonna have a discussion tonight.
Okay. All right. Well, I won't be long. I just want to make this point, right? Because I think it's really important, right? This is what caught me. All right. So if you go on her page, right? Everybody, if you want to volunteer, it's right there. It's real easy. Go click there, put your email information in, and become a volunteer. If you want to donate, it's right there. Go right there, right? But what really important for you is to come here to this thing called issues. Let's click on these issues and see what's going on, right? Especially if you live in Georgia. What are we talking about here? Fighting for economic, social, and environmental justice. All right, let's look at it. First item on the thing. See, you got me with the first item. Establish a federal agency for American descendants of slavery. Establish the legal definition of the American descendants of slavery, ADOS. Establish a federal agency to collect, manage, and maintain a national registry of ADOS and create policy to address the needs of ADOS, including but not limited to reparations in the form of cash payments, low to no interest home loans, low to no interest small business loans, set aside opportunities for government contracts, college tuition, reimbursement, student loan debt cancellation, and funding for HBCUs. That's on her platform. She's already running for that. So before I even go into anything else, if you live in the state of Georgia and you're voting for someone, and you're a self-identified ADOSer and you're not voting for this, you're not living by politics as a gift and not an exchange. You're not living by we need to be supporting someone with an ADOS agenda, because we're going to go later on in the show and show you how this is the only one that has one. I'll give it back to you, Naheem.
Oh, definitely. You know what? Being that you did bring that up, let's before we bring our sister back on, I do want to go to something real quick, because I think that it's interesting that, when we look at one of the top Democratic senatorial candidates, Raphael Warnock, I'm looking at I've read through his whole platform. We have issues on healthcare, on voting rights, on reproductive rights, LGBTQ, jobs in the economy, criminal justice reform. I believe I've went through this whole website. I've seen nothing that said reparations. I've seen a lot of what's called BIPOC issues or POC issues, but I've seen nothing tantamount to a black agenda. So
no black agenda, huh?
No black agenda, no black agenda at all. So I wanted to share that with the family real quick, and I want to bring our sister back on so she can finish going in and telling us her story. What is it like out there on the campaign trail, traveling from location to location and meeting new people? I think that we all need to understand that experience as well, because you have some brothers on this panel who are certainly gearing up to make runs for some state and local seats, and the ones that's not, I'm encouraging them to do it all the time. So definitely, sis.
Yeah, so it has been, this is, like I said, not my first run for office. So the running and the intricacies of campaigning, because I've run 3 times prior, this feels like second nature to me. Like, I got it. I got this. I know how, having our phone bankers, having our postcard writers. We've been phone banking and postcard writing since January, guys. So the structure was put in place a long time ago. Getting out, once COVID hit, became something very different. But I was even committed to that. We're in a COVID season. Not many candidates are actually out going around the state, but I am. I rented a small RV because I knew I had to travel to get there, and I had to have some place to stay. So I was like, okay. And the first little RV, it was like this, the toilet and the shower was there together. It freaked me out so bad. I was like, I got to get the next size up. So I did, so that I could at least be halfway comfortable in this thing. So I've done what it takes to get around the state, 3,600 miles in the month of August. And I'm telling you, every time somebody gave a donation, that was gas for that. It's a gas guzzler now. It burns. So I'm buying gas. I'm paying for, staying in the campgrounds and, just being out there on the campaign trail. I got flyers, I got yard signs. I made my way around parts of Georgia that most people won't go into. Like, for example, Sylvester. I went through that part, and people were actually sitting under the tree. Our ADOS brothers and sisters, in the middle of the day, when you think people are working or in school or being productive, these folks sitting up under the tree, hanging out, playing checkers. Just, these people have nothing. A lot of these areas don't have any internet access, or spotty internet access. The phones didn't halfway work. It was one part of Georgia from Lakeland to Brunswick. It was like 40-mile stretch. It was nothing out there, and I was scared as hell. So I'm out here, y'all, scared. Like, this is scary out here in these Georgia woods. These are back roads. These are, Republican land where you don't see nothing but Donald Trump signs. You don't see nothing that remotely resembles anything, quote unquote Democratic. You see Trump signs and Jesus signs all over South Georgia. This is their neck of the woods. So yeah, I'm out here and I'm doing what it takes. So campaigning, I'm committed to this. And this, even in this COVID season, I'm putting myself at risk being around people. I sprained my ankle last month, came back home and had to go to the orthopedic. I'm wearing a brace. I'm committed to this. And I think I've proven and shown it over and over again.
Several people actually have asked in the chat, do you have Cash App?
I do. It's the THE in front of Tamara for Georgia, all spelled out. So the word the THE and then Tamara for Georgia, all spelled out. So
dollar sign
and then the THE and then Tamara for FOR and then Georgia spelled out.
Okay, the Tamara for Georgia.
Yes. And you should see a flyer. You'll see my flyer as my picture.
Okay, if y'all don't see the flyer as the picture, if y'all don't see the sister's flyer, that is not her Cash App. So whoever's donating now, send a donation. If there's any issues, like right now, put it in the chat so that we can make sure that we have the right Cash App handle. So I have some questions. Brother Josh, Brother Ali, please jump in at any time. But I wanted to ask you some questions from out of your book. And I wanted to read something real quick about, what got you into even running for office in the first place. And in your book, Faith, Purpose, and Politics, on page 3, you said the economic downturn in 2008 had a damaging impact on the beauty and barber industry. My industry had been deemed recession-proof, but that was not true. I lost customers and I had to close my business. However, if people were still getting personal services, where were they going? Why was the value of beauty and barber professionals diminishing? I didn't know the answers to those questions. However, what I was sure of was that it was more than the economic downturn of 2008 that affected my industry. There was a power shift, a political power shift, a shift in policy that trickled down and affected everyday workers in the industry. I knew that losing my salon, the downturn in the economy, and God calling me to quit was a part of a greater purpose. I just hadn't figured it out. Can you get into that in the movement called cityhood? That had me kind of curious.
Yeah, so back over in DeKalb County here, they were, there's parts of DeKalb County that's unincorporated. It's county property, but they're not necessarily a part of a city, but it is part of the county. So they were wanting to create a city, and they were land grabbing to create bigger cities. It was just this whole controversy around cityhood. And that was what sparked me getting into the Georgia state race, because the senator who was initiating these cityhood and all this land grab, that was the Senator Fran Miller, that everybody was afraid of.
Okay.
It's funny that you reached to my book. That book, I tell you, it was the hardest thing I ever had to, one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. To this day, there's probably some typos in that book because I could never go back and relive that experience. Me being homeless, my husband left me. I know I carry a hyphenated last name, but I am divorced. My husband left me, you know, and I can say that out loud and it doesn't hurt like it used to, but he left because he didn't believe in my candidacy and all these runs. He didn't believe in this, and he felt like this was something that would be detrimental financially. So he was like, I'm out, and he left. Wow. So, I mean, I've lost a lot. You know, my children and I, like I said, we were homeless. I lost everything during that time, but this was I was married afterwards, and now he left. So y'all don't see, you see what you see, but then you don't know that it has cost me, you know, it has cost me everything. And I'm running, and I'm committed to ADOS. I'm committed to this movement, and I'm committed to us as a people. I know this is a calling on my life. I wish, there's been, I tried to shake this off. Like I remember when I first got into that run, I remember crying and waking up crying one morning. And that's the morning that I called my sister and I said, I cannot shake this. It won't go away. And then my sister said to me, why would you try? And I surrendered to this a long time ago. You know, I know that I'm playing a very dangerous game here in Georgia. These people are racist as hell, y'all. They racist as hell. I'm playing a very dangerous game, talking about reparations, talking about our repair, talking about Black America, talking about us. It's very dangerous. I'm committed to this.
Can I ask you a question? Being that you mentioned racism, the Anglo-Americans that you have encountered, if you can tell, which ones are Anglo-Americans, versus European, white Americans of immigrant ancestry, which one, like, when you bring up the issue of reparations to them, if you have, do you get pushback from Anglo-Americans the same way that you would get from, say, white people of immigrant background?
I think when I see white, I just see white, honestly. I don't, I just see white. And I most of the time when I'm in somebody's face and if I'm having this conversation, they ask me questions. But if you watch me online, if you see, like, my Facebook in particular, you guys know I'm not the biggest on Twitter. Twitter is such a battleground. I just post and I just keep moving. But on Facebook, I'm a little more engaging. And I mean, over there, that's where they are the worst. I mean, my post it's just garbage. And some of it, I hide it because it's so much garbage. But my post on Facebook is just, they say every and anything to me in those posts. So there's a lot of white allies that jump in and fight back. There's a lot of you that jump in and fight back. But I tend not to argue reparations. I leave that. I'm going to tell you, I have honestly left the arguing of reparations alone. And I just keep running on the platform. Let's go back to my race. There's 21 candidates in this race. 21, let's do the math. If all things were considered equal, 4.5%, everybody would be on the same page. Somebody could win this race, with 10, 15% of the votes, because there's so many of us in this damn race. You got all kinds of Republicans, Democrats, Green Party, write-in, Libertarian. You got everything under the sun in this race, 21 candidates. I'm very specific about, at this juncture, who I'm talking to. Actually, somebody white came up to me and she said, and we were having a conversation, and she said to me, "You just trying to get in the runoff, aren't you?" And I laughed because I felt like she piqued my strategy. Right now, with 21 candidates in the race, I'm not trying to be all things to all people. That would be dumb. I'm reaching out to those that are going to hear me and hear my message of reparations, because that is the one thing that separates me from all the other candidates in this race. Nobody has a black agenda, and nobody talks about reparations. And Raphael Warnock, like, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep saying this every opportunity I get. How dare you stand in that pulpit of Dr. King, and you stand in the shoes of Dr. King, and you don't have an agenda for black people? Nothing. He has nothing on his agenda for black people. No. I actually have a flyer right here on my desk. He's doing the hell out of mailing. This is why I need resources, guys. He mailing the hell. What he has done is the Bloomberg. That's what I call it.
Yeah, I've gotten several of his flyers in my inbox as well.
This one came in the mail, right?
Oh, that's blasphemy.
Dr. King's picture on it, right? Look at this, y'all. Dr. King's picture on
blasphemy.
It. And then guess what it says? When you preach from Dr. King's pulpit, you never forget that your job is to lead, to teach, to heal, to comfort, and to fight for justice. Period. What about for black people? Because Dr. King did all he did for black people specifically.
That's
He
right.
left all that. He just totally left that out.
Totally left that
all lives matter. No, black
Yeah.
lives matter. That's what he should have been talking about. He don't even mention it.
Don't even mention it. That is amazing.
Sister,
can you explain for those who may not know, like, what is a runoff, so just they can have a picture of it? What's that mean?
So with 21 candidates in this race, how Georgia is structured, the top 2 vote getters, if nobody gets 50% plus 1, the top 2 vote getters will square off in January. So there will be a runoff in January for the top 2 vote getters. It could be anybody. I'm hoping it's me and Doug Collins. Doug Collins is he was in the House, a congressman in the House, and he was the one that was stomping for Donald Trump during those impeachment hearings. He was the one Donald Trump told our governor here in Georgia to pick for that seat, but he picked Kemp actually picked Kelly Loeffler. So they're angry. The Republicans are fighting because Doug Collins was supposed to be the pick, not Kelly Loeffler.
That's right. That's a fact. That's a fact, because I believe she was critical of Trump as well. And in the beginning, of course, now, Trump's name carries some political weight, but I believe that was a lot of what that beef was about, that she was critical of Trump, and Kemp picked her anyway. And so you had some people that were up in arms about that, politicians who are not even in Georgia, just, that whole network of good old boys around the country. They didn't like that at all. So, but she's since picked up the Confederate battle flag and carried on a lot of that rhetoric. So you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Sister Tamara, I had a question for you. This being that this is not your first run, what are some of the key things that you maybe picked up from each run that help you do a little bit better or tighten some things up or whatever the case may be on after each run, and then maybe you can lead it up to now?
Yeah, you know what the thing that has always worked for me is my ground game. You have to get on the ground. You got to get to know people. You got to meet people, and you got to get to know people. If you don't get on the ground, like I say, he is doing the Bloomberg. He's buying up the media. His media, he's on television, he's on radio. I get mailers, like you say, you getting them, Naheem, I'm getting them over here to just mail. He is buying up the media. That's kind of like it's over the top. People get that stuff, but they feel absolutely no connection. You just feel like another politician. But when you get on the ground and you get in people's face and you meet them and you talk to them and you get to know them, and then they introduce you to other people, that to me has always been the winning formula. That to me, how I've gained momentum each and every time is that I stayed on the ground. Grassroots politics is always best. Absolutely, Cynthia. That's it.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. Yo, so I wanna share something real quick. We're talking about a man and he's not the only one in Georgia. Ironically, some black people in Georgia think that if you're from Georgia, you can just use King's name and you don't have to have King type politics. You can just say, I preach at King's church, or I was adopted by King's relative. You got another person running for a House seat, talking about, she was adopted by she's running as a Republican, oddly enough, talking about she's part of the King legacy and all this kind of stuff, and don't even have no King politics. But what this Warnock is doing is it's just blasphemous. That's the only way I can really describe it. You're preaching out of King's church. You're using King's image and his name and his legacy to just, but you're not backing it up with any type of King politics. Mm-hmm. I want to show some of the content this man is receiving, and then I want to go talk about what his actual politics are in contrast to our ADOS senator that we have right here. And I'm calling her a senator because I believe in speaking things into existence. And she is my senator, no matter what the outcome may be. She is the people's senator, right? So she will be my senator, irregardless to the outcome of this election. But if we go to, and I've dropped this on the program before, if you weren't listening, this is followthemoney.org. And it's a very useful resource when you want to see where contributions come from. Any candidate, anywhere, anytime, local, state, federal, what have you. It's all here, and you can look at where the money's coming from, right? And let's just look at this money. You know what I mean? A lot of individual contributions or small contributions, because unitemized, that means anything. I don't know Georgia's specific cutoff. It could be from anywhere from $25 to $700 for this unitemized contribution. You know what I mean?
It's probably anything under $200. Is that his? Whose is this?
This is what. Let me go up. I see you can't see it, so let's scroll up. This is Warnock Raphael, and we can see his overall total contributions, 4,388,139. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here. We're going to look and see where this money is coming from, right? Finance, insurance, and real estate. Under like he's almost 1.6 million is the itemized. So that's a lot
that's probably everything under $200, because anything under $200 you don't have to necessarily So any small dollar donations.
Yep. Small contributions. So he's a member of a large church. A lot of churches probably around the country, of the state, are probably, collecting. I'm just speculating. But we got finance, insurance, and real estate, $320,423. Lawyers and lobbyists coming in third. Government agencies, education, other, all over. There's a lot of 100,000 plus contributions. General business, communications and electrics, candidate contributions, right? So
does that say party? What is party? Party? Is that like the Democratic Party?
That's the Democratic Party. This is what he's getting from the party right here.
Wow.
Almost 50,000 from the Democrat Party, right?
Whoa.
Agriculture, private interests, right? These are private interests, right? That he's getting a lot of money from. This is what ADOS candidates and anyone really who is not a party line corporate captured candidate is up against. You know what I mean? This is who he's up against. The labor industry didn't, oddly enough, didn't give him a whole lot of money. So maybe there's room to grab from support there, even though construction did give him a decent amount of money. But that to me is not really full commitment type of numbers. So, just look at this money, right? And this is 4 million we're talking about. And what we can compete with, while we can compete with millions and millions of dollars as ADOS, what we can do is do what we can financially and really combat this with our constituency and our turnout. What we have to combat our lack in dollars with is commitment and turnout. We have to turn out, we have to vote, because even if we make it so hard, right, for these people to win, that's a win for us. To where they be like, I don't want to fight them. Them people make me have to really get out here and get to work. We can make it so stressful and hard to be like, look, like, what do I need to do to get y'all off of me? Because guess what? If we don't, this is a special election, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And this was back up again in what, 2022?
2022. So whatever happens, this only fulfills the 6-year term that was left for Johnny Isakson. So there's 2 years left in this term. So this same race has to be run again in 2022.
And we're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. We not.
Right.
We don't get up, you know. No retreat, no surrender. We're in it to win it. We are breeding winners over here. You understand? And that's the BTP message. We're breeding winners. Senator Tamara Johnson-Shealy has all of the winning attributes that anyone. Just look at her. Come on now. You don't want to vote for her? Come on. People who don't know, I'm in the military, and my home of record is still Illinois. I don't have a reparationist ADOS self-identifying candidate to vote for in Illinois. If I could vote in Georgia, I would know without question would be voting for her. Period.
But I'm still your senator, because as a United States senator, my vote affects the entire nation. So I am your senator. I am your senator. I am your senator. It doesn't matter that I am from Georgia. Whatever vote I cast in Congress, I'm voting for you. It affects you across the country, every single one of you.
And even though I can't vote for you, I'm going to donate to you. I'm going to donate not just the little bit of money I got with all these kids, but I'm going to donate my time to you. I'm already registered as a volunteer on your website. I'm ready to, what can I do? Every little bit of energy I can give to your success, I'm going to give it, because I'm a real reparationist. We are the BTP reparationists, and we always say we don't play about our politics. Politics is the game. I mean, government is the game, and politics is how it's played. And if we don't have any players in the game, we can't put no numbers up. And I'm trying to put numbers up. You know what I'm talking about? And this looked like the MVP right here. I'm going to pass that back to Naheem.
All right. What I want to do real quick is I want to go back to our sister's website, and I just want to pull this up real quick and read it, because it's important to understand how immigration looks coming from an ADOS candidate as opposed to somebody like a Warnock, right? So let's blow this up. Hold on, let me blow this up some more so the people can see that. All right, pathway to citizenship. Let's full screen that. Pathway to citizenship. Humane and respectful treatment of undocumented immigrants at our borders. You know, we're humans at the end of the day. We're not evil monsters. Allow immigrants a pathway to citizenship that first addresses the needs of American descendants of slavery and Americans who are the working poor. Address us first. Deal with us first. We have to be priority. We built this country. Next, an economic agenda incentivizing businesses that invest in countries that support immigrants transitioning back into their home countries. This is what an immigration plan coming from an ADOS candidate should look like. And if you think somebody like Warnock or any of these other establishment Democrats is going to put together a pathway to citizenship like this, that puts ADOS at the forefront, you're kidding yourself. Absolutely kidding yourself. So I wanted to share that and let the people know that we have a candidate, our Senator, Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy, and we have her on BTP tonight, sharing with us her story, her plight, her frustrations, and letting her know that we are here to support her. And we're urging the whole ADOS family to support. Even if you're not ADOS and you're watching this and you support what we do, you need to support this sister, because she's fighting for us. Point blank, period. We feel that America becomes great once we become great. Period. That's Brother right. Josh, you wanted to jump in, or Brother Ali?
Well,
No, I just
ahead, Josh.
wanted to see if the sister could, break that down. Like, because it's one thing when we talk about issues surrounding immigration on our ADOS platforms. It's another thing when you actually have to translate that into policy and something that's going to be like real. Would you mind, like, just giving us a little bit of breakdown of what you mean as far as in those issues, those 3 highlighted bullet points?
Yeah, I'm specific. I'm not going to put immigrants over over those of us that are American descendants of slavery. Our needs come first. Those jobs, we're the first one to get those jobs. Those opportunities, we're the first one to get those opportunities, not anyone else. I just want to make sure that we need to have some hierarchy here. We're first. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody else. We're going to share, but ADOS is first.
Definitely. Brother Ali, you had a question you wanted to ask?
Well, kind of Josh kind of asked the question already, which, in terms of the pathway to citizenship and how would that actually be laid out in terms of, that pathway, basically addressing the needs of the American descendants of slavery. So just kind of like a breakdown of how that would actually look, how that would work.
Well, I can tell you my last semester at Emory, I took an a citizenship and immigration course. And when I tell you that course is the immigration 2 books that I had to purchase were $500. The book is about this thick with the immigration laws in this country. My professor made it really clear that what she was going to be able to give us in this semester was just enough to skim the surface. And her take was that the immigration and the laws in this country need to just be overhauled. The system is broken. It's broken. It's got cracks and holes in it. And so as we move into it, when I'm elected, immigration is something that is bigger than me, but whatever comes down the pike, I will be making sure that specifically ADOS is first. So asking me to go dive into it much deeper than that, let's just see what happens when I get there. And when I get there, my job is to block, tackle. You will not get through unless ADOS is on the forefront.
So you're saying you're not going to really support something like removing the cap for
Kamala Harris, yeah,
and opening, getting rid of the borders. You're not going to really support that kind of stuff.
Well, Kamala scares the hell out of me, y'all. Can I say that?
Mm-hmm.
She scares me. She scares me because I don't know what she will do when she gets there. So I hope that the movement, the one thing I can say I can appreciate about this movement is you guys know how to shut SHIT down. So I hope that if anything comes down the pike that is not what it needs to be for us as a people first, we're all going to work together to stop it and shut it down. I'm going to do my part. I'm going to be there. I'll have my eyes on everything. But as it comes, I'm going to be like, y'all, we got to get on this. We got to attack this. This is where y'all are going to become advocates and damn near, they're with me as much, because I'm going to need y'all to be there. We're going to have to be there the same way when HR 40 was presented and people showed up. Y'all going to have to show up when I get to Washington. I cannot, and I don't anticipate doing any of this by myself. Like I know my candidacy and my campaigning, I can't do this by myself. I cannot do this by myself when I get to Washington. Do not expect me to go to Washington and be able to do this by myself because I cannot. I will need you more than I need you right now.
Definitely. Brother Logic, you wanted to share something?
Absolutely. I want to show something, right? The sister's been talking for a while. We've been on the program over an hour, and she's been talking about putting ADOS first. She's been talking about common sense policies, and she's been talking about being specific. It's been amazing. So let's go and talk about one of the other leading, faces. We brought up Warnock. We talked about him. And since we're talking about him, let's just talk about him a little bit more. We went in a couple agenda items on Senator Johnson-Shealy's page, right, on her website. Let's look at him. This is his Georgia priorities, right? This is priorities. This is where his mind is at. Healthcare, number one priority. Voting rights, reproductive rights, right? Criminal justice reform. Let's see what's in. Let's unpack just a little bit of this real quick to see who he's putting first. Senator Shealy told us who she's putting first. Let's see who he's putting first. Reverend Warnock's belief in affordable health care comes from his understanding of the dignity of human beings and his confidence that courageous, principled leaders can stand up to special interests and make our health care system work better for all. He didn't say nothing about ADOS in that first long, all that, whatever that is, right? No, he ain't talking about nothing. That's why he's rejecting corporate PAC money.
First of all, I want you to see that it's written in second person. He didn't write that. Somebody wrote this for him.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Him. He didn't even write this. This is not even, who are you, dude?
Yeah, and when we looked at somewhere that some of that money comes from, I would be hard pressed to see how none of it's PAC money. I don't understand how that's not PAC money, because
it's not classified.
Because he knows
the whole point of people saying I will not take corporate PAC money is because you want to have a situation where there's some transparency, so we can know, like, people. It's like we say, politics is an exchange. So when we say that people are giving money in exchange for their agenda, essentially. But we know the corporations do that a lot. So when you have donations that you receive that are uncategorized and unclassified, that are kind of classified or whatever, it's like, okay, people just, who is this giving you this money? That's what we want to know. Because when we know who is giving it to you, we can connect some dots and see why they're giving it to you. And then we can better be able to predict what type of policies you're going to have. And we can say whether or not we would agree with those policies or not. But when you don't have that, it just kind of is meant to be hidden, and they do that for a reason. But go ahead, brother.
All right, now, okay, so I'm gonna skim down. So right, I'm gonna cut through some of this real quick. It's a lot of fat in here. You got to cut through a lot of this. All right, so he talked about whatever that was up in the front. So then he goes down here and he mentions the pandemic. The pandemic has laid bare to the glaring inequality of our healthcare system like never before. As coronavirus cases skyrocket, the inadequacy of our healthcare system has become painfully clear, while the gaps between rich and poor, black and white, rural and urban grow wider every day. What is he talking about?
You know, he just came up with this agenda because when he first came out, he did not have an agenda page at all. At all. He was collecting money, raising money, and people was asking, well, where do you stand on the issues? This was in social media. This page probably came about maybe about a month ago. He just put an issues page up. He didn't even have an issues page, and he had already raised millions of dollars.
He has not mentioned American descendants of slavery once. That's what I find. I can't vote for you. You talking about the pandemic? You talk about inequality and inequitable healthcare access, but then if you acknowledge that, you cannot just not like highlight the people who are suffering the worst from that. How you get to just not mention them and just talk about this black, white, everybody type of whatever this is? This is like a gumbo of nothing. I don't know what this is. You just saying stuff.
Sound like status quo to me. Sound like status quo.
Cookie cutter Democrat.
That's what it is. Cookie cutter Democrat. I mean, like what was that? That was horrible. So okay, so that's that. We went into healthcare real quick. I just want to dive into another just to see maybe that was a fluke, even though I don't know. That's his number one priority. So
can I answer this?
I don't know, right?
From the sister's reaction, the Democratic Party has not contributed to her campaign, not a dime. The Democratic Party hadn't even contributed to the county parties. We have 159 counties around the state. And I can just tell you that Newton County specifically was asking candidates for help, for money to help support them. So how can you have a state party, a state Democratic Party, that doesn't even support the county parties? And the county parties are asking, this particular county party has asked us as candidates for money so that they can support us. The Democratic Party, if you go to the Georgia's Democratic Party's website, they don't even have a page. They should at least have a page that says these are all the races here in Georgia. These are all the candidates, and here's a link to their website. They don't even do that.
Yeah, you know, there's also a inner war that I believe that those of us who are following this political theater needs to understand within the Democratic Party. When you have young African-American progressives, and I put emphasis on that word because I believe that if you are not fighting for reparations, then you're not a true progressive, particularly as an African-American, because the nickname of the progressive branch of the Democratic Party is Justice Democrats, and the ultimate form of justice is a reparations package for America's descendants of slavery. So with Jamal Bowman's election out of New York, Cori Bush's election out of St. Louis, you know, I believe in both cases, the CBC backed a non-ADOS incumbent. In fact, I believe that these were European Americans or white people that they backed the incumbents over Sister Cori Bush and Brother Jamal Bowman. So, you know, there's so many different dynamics at play here, and we start to really look at how mesmerized the captured ADOS vote is by the Democratic Party. It is almost like a blinding light that pleases the pleasure center of the brain somehow, like a bad drug. And our people just keep walking into that light. Again, you have a cookie cutter Democrat and Warnock with the same cookie cutter policies that you can find on every single corporate Democrat's page. And we are pushing our sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy tonight because we know that she is the candidate for us, regardless of what we are going through a learning phase. This is the beginning stages of us becoming really political, and we need all of this experience, all of it. We have Brother Ja'Cory on that spoke about things on the local level, and that was, you know, a little bit more easier. But now we got a sister on that's running on the state level, and that is where the complexity comes in at. And we need to make sure that we understand and keep our eye and focus on this sister and her race, because it is important to our understanding of how, when we move into the space of running for office, and what to look out for when we are being attacked, or any future ADOS candidate is being attacked or boxed out by the establishment.
Yes. Let me read this real quick, and I want to ask you to chime in on this. And what are your thoughts on this, Senator? Let me just read this real quick. His one of the points that he brought up in his priorities was criminal justice reform, and like again, this isn't him speaking on his position, right? Reverend Warnock, someone's talking about the Reverend. The good Reverend Warnock believes that in the land of the free, it is a scandal and a scar on the soul of America to imprison more people at a higher rate than any other country in the world. First of all, we talking about scars on the soul of America, and we ain't talking about reparations, and we ain't talking about chattel slavery. We're not talking about black codes. We're not talking about convict leasing. We're not talking about restoring the healing of 85 years of lynching under government impunity. What are we talking about? Woo! All right, let's go. With our country containing only 5% of the world's population, while warehousing nearly 25% of the world's prisoners, real and immediate change is needed. Okay, well, let's talk about these prisoners, Reverend Warnock. The prison population of America is fed by a system that criminalizes poverty. Boy, I'm gonna get into that part too. Impales the bodies of the most vulnerable citizens. Who are these most vulnerable citizens, Reverend? Come on, good Reverend. And incarcerates people of color. Here we go with POC politics. Incarcerates people of color. This vague, loose language. Who are you talking about? Talking about at disproportionate levels. We're talking about people of color. So he's not being specific, and he's like trying to do this inclusive criminal justice reform. But when we understand through this movement, we've learned that there's more black men, not people of color. There's more black men in jail than women in prison all over the world. That's being specific. You understand? So when you talk about bad conditions, you should talk about the people who are being affected the most, or who are suffering the worst from these conditions, because they're the people who need help the most, right? In a triage situation, you separate people by order of care, and the order of care is determined about the severity of the injuries and the casualties, right? You don't go to someone who just needs a Band-Aid before someone whose leg is broken or someone who's hemorrhaging. But we as ADOS have been hemorrhaging for a long time, and he wants to just put everybody together, and whoever gets this, they just get it. Let the chips fall where they may. We all people of color. No one wants to be specific, but Senator Tamara Johnson-Shealy. We can't, I don't even need to read any more of this. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this, because this is upsetting. And you know, we can't have a movement about specificity. We can't have a movement about specificity and don't demand specifics. And when we see specifics reflecting the things that we need, we have to support them. There is no other alternative. It's the only political logic that makes sense. Everything else is an abrasion of the mind. Why would you be trying to beg someone like Warnock or someone else to do all the things the Senator Johnson-Shealy is already saying she's fighting for and has been fighting for and has a history of fighting for? Why would you want to bring someone else to a table to ask them to put what you want on the plate? When the sister got all your recipes in the kitchen, she been cooking up all your stuff, and she been doing it. She trying to cook you a whole meal, and you trying to beg him to put a couple of things on the plate for you. You want some side dishes. We have to get our political focus and get it together. We have to get our grit. We have to understand that this mission is uphill. This is an uphill mission. I don't care where you run in the United States. It's going to be an uphill battle. Some fights are going to be harder than others, but they're all going to be very difficult. You have to be 10 toes down for this thing. And this sister shows she has been the most courageous and the most committed. And I support her 100,000%. Now back to you, Naheem.
Oh, definitely. Brother Josh, Brother Ali, did y'all have anything, any more questions that y'all wanted to ask? And if Sister Tamara, if you wanted to speak on anything. Okay, if you wanted to speak on anything as well, you can. I want to address something else from out of your book. Well, I want you to address something else that I read in your book as well. So if you wanted me to go through that first, or if you had anything that you wanted to share.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Look, okay. you keep pulling out that book. I told you that book is painful, but go ahead.
Hey, right now is a great time of confronting. And a lot of different things are being confronted right now. So, I heard what you said about the book, and I think this is a good place for us to do a lot of confronting. And so, on page 32, it says, Netroots Nation is an annual event for activists, and wherever they convene, they address the root of a problem. In Georgia, our root is race, racism, and race relations. And the white gubernatorial candidate was not protested because she was white. Let me say it again. The white gubernatorial candidate was not protested because she was white, but because she was white, she was protested. This sounds like the same sentence repeated twice, but dig deeper. Go back and read it again. Can you give us some context on what you meant by that? What's going on here as well in this situation?
So Netroots Nation came to Atlanta, and Netroots Nation is they're activists from around the country. They usually come and protest around some issue. They every year they convene in some city where there's some sort of political unrest. They came to Atlanta, and when they came to Atlanta, it was when Stacey Abrams was running for governor, when she had a primary challenger. Her primary challenger was named Stacey Evans. So people were like, which, had to choose between a Stacey. Stacey Evans was the white girl. Stacey Abrams, y'all all know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
So when Netroots Nation happened here, Stacey Abrams got up. When she spoke, nobody protested. There was no outbreak of protest. That she actually spoke at the event. But when Stacey Evans got up to speak, she was protested. And they protested her not because she was white. It wasn't because of the color of her skin.
Mm-hmm.
It was because she was white, and that was the opportune time for them to be heard.
Mm.
So when people were so confused, like, oh, they protested, they were the white people, like they protested the white girl, but they let the black Stacey Abrams speak. But they would have not been heard. They were heard because when the white woman spoke, they were heard. So it was a confusing time, but Stacey Abrams ultimately won the primary. All of it worked.
Definitely. Okay, definitely. Brother Ali, Brother Josh, y'all had any more questions?
Yeah, sister. I was just looking at it like, well, I want to ask you this question. Do you believe that in the event, like you brought it up again, and I don't want people to confuse this question with like looking at the downside of what happens if you don't win. But what would be like I don't want to say.
Yeah, I don't know what you don't have to hold
right,
back.
so,
you're family. I expect you to just say it, please.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to mind the messaging on here because I don't want people to think that we're, looking at some standpoint from like not winning, right? So let's say we don't win,
lost before. So one thing
right?
I'm not afraid to do is lose. We learn. We don't lose. We learn.
That's right.
So I'm not afraid of that.
So, right. So what is the value of continuing? Can you explain people that? Because I think some people may be like, well, she can't win anyway, or they feel like she's not going to win. So why do I need to support? Can you speak to maybe some of those people?
She can't win. When I ran times, that was the state Senate race. Like I said, this is state Senate District 40 that I live in, predominantly white, affluent. The dynamics are very different. This is the United States Senate that I'm running for now. We have the whole state of Georgia. I don't have this box that I'm in, and only these people can vote for me. The entire state of Georgia can vote for me. So we have an opportunity now to really kind of see where we are with this ADOS message. If nothing else, let's see where we land. We have a message now that is resonating across the country with reparations. Let's see what happens with candidacy. Let's support it full. Let's give it all we got, because somebody's going to come behind me. Somebody's going to come behind that person. We have to.
That's right.
We got to stay in the fight. So it's to me, you're not a real fighter. I mean, you don't get into, you stick and stay. You ride it till the wheels fall off. And to see people kind of get with it and then say, well, that to me is just, you're not a fighter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how I looked at it. I'm like, look,
That's right.
reparations is, if you look at, nobody else is really having reparations on their platform. A lot of people are scared to talk about it. They don't want to include it in the conversation on the campaign. They don't want to talk about it at all. And you're the only person talking about it. I don't see how that is not especially after reparations now, is in the national conversation. And we've seen polls done where public favor for reparations has increased. So why are we not demanding that it be a baseline part of anybody's platform that we're going to vote for? Like, I don't get it. Like, are we stuck? Are we Democrat reparationists?
are we
That's
just
a good one.
that is a good one. Are we
That's a good one.
Are we Democrat reparationists? Or are we just
Whoa.
ADOS? We don't want to be ADOS Democrats. Is that what? That's a good question, Josh.
That's a
Are
good
we
one, Josh.
That should be the only thing that matters. Like for real now. Some of us is just ADOS Democrats still captured. You just woke up to this new realization of your lineage and your identity. You got some wealth data. And you mentioned something very important about data earlier about what you're running and what we're learning. We're not losing, we're learning. And what we're doing is we're a data-driven group. We're creating the data. No, there is no accurate data on what it looks like to run in any type of race as an ADOS reparationist. This is where we're drawing the data from now, because no one's done it until this courageous sister who had courage enough to do it did it. So we have data to go. We're generating it in real time. So anyone saying that the data suggests that she can't, what data? Based on what? Based on what? You don't know what you're talking about, because she's creating the data for you to research and analyze and dissect now in real life. So some of us, Josh, I think you're absolutely right. We have to start distinguishing and identifying who is a real ADOS reparationist and who is just an ADOS Democrat, because at the end of the day, it really means something.
Hey, so we gonna clear it up right now. What we need the sister to say, just you gotta say.
Hold on, let me.
What we need the sister to say right now. Say, I am a reparationist. That's what.
I'm a reparationist. Okay, I'm a reparationist. I mean, that was not a hard ask. I'm a reparationist.
No, it's not. Hey, you're the only reparationist in the running for a Senate office across the country, as far as we know.
That's right.
There it is.
That's right.
I'm proud of it. I'm a reparationist.
There you go.
Reparations is on my agenda. I speak so I'm bold. I'm people. Yeah.
There you go.
Definitely. We would love to have our sister on the Breakfast Club for an interview. They bringing up all these people.
That would be excellent.
This controversial stuff, the Angela Stantons. Why not have this sister, a true reparationist, running on a platform that is us first? Because that's what we need. We got enough people that's everybody else first. We can't have nobody that's us first. Like we say on this platform all the time, everybody has a day one agenda for everybody else except us. And as my brother Josh said, we can't get some day one policies for the day one citizens. We've been here since day one. There's a day one agenda for everybody else. Now we can't even have a black agenda, ADOS candidate in the race that we are not supposed to get behind because people are scared of the topic of reparations. I mean, I would think that Bob Johnson's endorsement and Robert Smith's endorsement, these are billionaires, right? The endorsement of a lot of wealthy people over the past couple of weeks have come out and have expressed the fact that our people do, in fact, need reparations to close this racial wealth gap. So now we have somebody. Now we have a sister that's willing to get up in the Congress, roll up her sleeves, and do the thing for our people. She's not going to ignore everybody else's issues, which is what they're concerned about. She's just saying, I'm going to look at our issues first. I'm going to get to that. Don't worry about it. I'm going to look at our issues first. And that's how we move as reparationists. I don't see what's so difficult about that, particularly among our ADOS family and those that are ADOS but don't identify with the group. Once that gets explained, when I was handing out the flyers, that's what I was doing. I was talking about the sister. This sister is fighting for our reparations. I was walking up the hood cats that I see in my area like, yo, I know you don't be voting like that, man, but check this out, right? This sister right here, she trying to get us our reparations money, man. Look, and you know what I'm saying? And they like, yeah, okay. They getting interested. You start talking money, we a wealthless group. We got cats hustling, doing whatever it is that they need to do to get money. And I'm not solely emphasizing the money, but like this is politics at the end of the day. This is politics.
Money talks, man. There's wisdom in that saying.
Yeah, money. There sure is. Money talks. So, I'm so excited to have you on, sister. The energy is electric, from between yourself, brother Ja'Cory, brother Marlon. I mean, it has been some great energy. We have ADOS Los Angeles coming on next Tuesday. The sister Friday Jones and the brother Chad and several other ADOS Los Angeles members. And we're going to keep this thing moving. We're going to keep this political engine rolling, because this is what this is now. We are in a new era of Reconstruction. Go ahead, brother Ali.
And I would just say that what we're trying to do is provide the platform for all of our ADOS family to be able to come on and talk about the maneuvers that they're making, the things that they plan to do in their specific areas of the country. All of that stuff is important. Everyone needs to be able to be heard and exposed in terms of what it is that they're doing, what they're about, who they are. You know what I'm saying? And so we're just trying to provide that medium so people can have access in that way.
Definitely.
I want to give a shout out to one of our ADOS family members. Today, I went up to Winder, Georgia, which is north, kind of coming your way, Naheem.
Yeah, I was working out there for the past 3 years.
Okay, so you know where that is. So I went up to Winder, Georgia today. Pretty rural, right? Pretty rural, pretty white.
Oh yeah.
So we got some allies up there. So a white man early in the year sent me a postcard, and he sent a small donation and a postcard, but he also said, when you get yard signs, let me know. I want some yard signs. So I reached out to him and let him know I had yard signs. He said, get me as many yard signs as you can. And I know a bunch of places to put them out. Now, this is a white man up in Winder, Georgia. So I took those 20 yard signs today up to Winder, Georgia. And I want to shout out to Robin, because I was like, Robin, I let somebody know where I was going, because it's pretty rural up there, Naheem. And I dropped them off and left them on his porch. But I just want to, we got some people that in around Georgia that you might not think they're modern day reparationists. These white people, they're abolitionists. Maybe they gonna help us get free.
That's right. And look, let me say real quick, a reparationist, they don't have to be ADOS to be a reparationist. And this is what we said when we coined the term. You can be a democratic reparationist, a Republican reparationist, a conservative reparationist, a liberal reparationist, a libertarian reparationist. You could be a black reparationist, a white reparationist, a China or Asian reparationist. Just so long as you support what we are doing and what we need done to close the racial wealth gap, so that we could finally have justice and closure in this country that was built off of the back of our ancestors. You are in fact a reparationist. So that is not a term that's constricted to any ethnicity. That is like an abolitionist. It is a term that is for anybody that is fighting for freedom and justice, or as we say, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So
that's right.
Yeah, definitely, sister. And that's great news. And it shows that you still have support. And we're going to keep this thing going.
Because Winder is very, like I say, seriously, I went up there. One stretch of that was like 8 miles, and it was like, I'm like, this is very rural, up there. So for him to want like I said, I dropped off 20 signs. So there are going to be 20 signs somewhere around that county and in that area where we wouldn't think that we would have support, but there's support up there for us.
Speaking of support, I was watching your YouTube channel, I believe yesterday. You made an announcement on there. Do you care to make it again here now?
Yes, y'all. Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Tuesday I went to when I was trying to get that $1,000 just to get down to South Georgia, the longest serving city commissioner in Albany, Georgia, he's been in office for 26 years, officially endorsed me. That's a huge deal, guys. That man is a big deal.
Wow. So somebody of that stature still believes in Senator Shealy. Come on.
Okay. He understands he knows enough because I've explained to him what ADOS is. He's all in. He's all in.
And so there should, if that's the case, and it is.
Hey, Robin. Robin was the one looking out for me today. Thank you, Robin.
Oh, yeah,
I let her know where I was going.
Nice. Outstanding. We need more of that. We need more of that.
Right.
And if this individual still has belief in what she can do and in her success and victory, and not only belief in her ability to win, but belief in what she is running on, that's where it needs to be. Sometimes you got to put the whole win-loss thing out of your mind and say, do I believe in what they're running on? And if that's what should inspire your vote, because that's where the exchange is going to be connected, right? And if this individual still believes in her and still willing to go to bat for her and endorse her, where is the rest of ADOS, right? We have to be all hands on deck. We cannot afford to be wishy-washy and play hokey pokey politics with this thing. We can't have one foot in reparations and the other foot in party line inclusion and just captured type of politics. We have to be very committed and serious and be able to, that we're gonna take some lumps on this road. We're gonna take some bruises. The sister told you about hers, but we got to be all in, and it's gonna happen for us. Just like abolition happened, just like civil rights happened, reparations is gonna happen, but it only happens through supporting individuals like Senator Shealy.
We're 7 weeks away, guys. 7 weeks away. Like this election is so damn close. It's like I feel like I'm sitting on pins and needles because it's that damn close. Like I said, Raphael and the establishment, they are buying up media. I have a radio ad. I'm gonna make sure that y'all get to hear it. It's a 60-second radio ad that I haven't even had the money to put out yet. And radio, and I'm gonna tell you, South Georgia, everything below Macon, which is Middle Georgia, everything below is so black. That's where when I did the 3,600 miles last month in August, I stayed below Macon. I mean, I went all around those little towns, those little areas. I stayed below Macon. What I was doing, y'all, which a lot of people don't know, I was following food trucks. Anytime there was a food giveaway, your girl was there passing out flyers to hundreds of cars, meeting everybody I could, because a lot of times those people would get there early and sit. I had a chance to talk to them. One lady said because I went to Macon twice. One lady saw me and she said, "Oh, girl, I know who you are." That's all I need. I was like, "Girl, let me give you some more cars." So I gave her some more cars. I'm telling you, I felt like this trip last month was so successful. But like I said, Raphael is buying up media. I don't honestly feel like I'm competing with Kelly Loeffler. Let me say that again. I do not feel like Kelly Loeffler is my competition. 21 candidates in the race. Kelly, first of all, Republicans don't even like her. Brian Kemp chose her. Republicans didn't. Doug Collins is going to come out closer to the top, I believe, than everybody, because I think that he's going to get the majority of those Republicans because they wanted him all along. There's a white girl in the race named Candace Taylor, a Republican. She going to pick off Kelly's votes because she's pretty. So she'll pick off Kelly's vote. All right. And there's people that's going to pick, but I think Doug Collins may end up to be the one of the two people that make it to the top. I want to be the other one because he's so far to the right and I'm so far to the left. It'll be a great battle between he and I in a runoff. I would love to go toe to toe with him. So this is a race, guys, that I feel like we can win. Raphael, like I say, is buying up media, television, radio. He just social media. He's buying up media and he's flying up here. I'm staying on the ground. I got people. I send out boxes of flyers. I got people in all kinds of little rural areas passing out flyers. It's so black below Macon. I got to get that black vote. I got to secure our vote. So I'm bold with reparations. I talk about it like you talk about it, Naheem. I'm going in the hood. I'm having these conversations, bro. We got to get our check. We got to get paid. They owe us. I talk to them like you talk to them. They can receive that.
That's right.
They want that. They get that.
One of the things that came to mind was, see, we're supposed to have already done the work to where when you come in, it's not that hard. Us, the advocates, the people on YouTube, the people pushing, the people that come on every week talking to the people. We're supposed to already done the work and got it to where not just for the presidential candidates, it's no reparations, no vote. It's for everybody else, including especially the Congress. If we understand that there has to be a congressional focus, if Congress has to be the one that's going to enact number one, reparations study commission, and then of course enact a reparations bill where they're actually appropriating the funds for a reparation program, then you know for certain we need to make sure that it needs to be no reparations, no vote, with no Black agenda, no vote for congressional members. So what I'm saying is, I feel like you should just have to come with the agenda. You just should have to come with saying I'm a reparationist, and it should be like, oh well, you're the only one that's it should be automatic. And to me, it just shows that part of it, okay, we're kind of early. This message hasn't had enough time to permeate, even though it's long overdue. But it shouldn't take that long for people for the message to permeate.
We had to jump.
That's right.
Stay there with that thought, because 2020 is such a pivotal time right now. We had to jump out there as a movement, even though, quote unquote, we may not be ready. We had to be ready. Whether we were ready or not, we had to be ready. Donald Trump is out here, and he's making this thing work for us. Good, bad, or indifferent. He's making it work for us. We had to jump out here. So whether we were ready or not, we got to get ready and be ready and work. And this is where I think you got to start somewhere. This is where I think the movement has to be. The movement. This is the work of the movement. The movement has to be so far ahead of me. When we do our phone banking, Josh, the first thing that I tell people to say is talk about ADOS. Talk about the American descendants of slavery. Talk about reparations. Talk about it. And then you can tell them about me. Because I'm nothing and nobody without this movement. And I made it real clear. Where'd Josh go? Did I write Josh out?
He's gone. He can hear you. That's a very important message. Let's make sure nobody misses that, right? If you volunteer, not if, because I believe that you will. You volunteers on this thread. That's how you need to be engaging potential voters. You need to be talking about ADOS. You need to be talking about the justice claim. You need to be leading with all of that education. You need to be talking about the lineage gap. You need to be using that data to create a path for Senator Shealy to come behind you and say, I'm the champion of that. I'm going to represent that. We have to tell and craft the message that she can run on. She's got it in her platform. We have to amplify that message, right? We have to speak to that, to our cousins, our mothers, our fathers, our congregation members. Say, you know what? Pastor preach a good sermon, he gonna be doing that next Sunday. But we need a good agenda at the White House. You know what I mean? So come on now, we have to be serious. Somebody said in the chat that we have to support Tamara Johnson-Shealy as if our life depended on it, because it does. And they were 100% right and exact. Our life, politics is the science of who gets what, when, where, and how. And we don't have nobody in the game fighting for us. Nobody. And instead of begging problems for solutions, let's just support the solution.
So I want to make
real quick question.
Okay, but real quick, Ali, anybody that wants to ask any questions, type them in the chat, and we're gonna get to them. I see my father is in the chat. I gotta shout my pops out. He's watching from Facebook. He said, I would like to hear you guys' thoughts with Ice Cube's contract with Black America. My pops is 5%er, so peace to the God, first and foremost. We did a broadcast on that a few weeks back. I'll put the link into your inbox. We did a thorough dissection of that contract. It's a bunch of fluff. It's a bunch of fluff. So I'm gonna get that to you in a few minutes. Go ahead, Brother Ali.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about the commercial that you have. I might be able to help you out with getting that air, because one of my brothers is on radio in Georgia, and his show is actually syndicated as well. So I think if you could get me that the actual commercial, I can get it to him and try to have him run it for you.
Absolutely. I had to unmute
Yeah.
myself. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
Thank
All
you.
right. All right.
Yes.
So, okay, any questions? We want them questions coming in. Where them questions at? The sister is here.
Yeah,
And,
somebody asked earlier up in the thread,
Mhm.
they was like, are you running as a Democrat? I did see that question. So that's
Oh,
one.
y'all. You know what's so funny, Logic, is that when I go into these rural areas, we just have to meet some of our people where they are, particularly the older people. The first thing they always ask me, you a Democrat, right? You a Democrat. That's what they say. Oh, every older person that you a Democrat, right? You a Democrat, right? Yes, ma'am, I'm a Democrat. So that's my answer. Yes, I'm a Democrat. Because some people that I wish we could go beyond that, but that's not my fight. I can't. I'm a Democrat.
Understood.
And again, right? I just want people that the question has been answered. I know, that's great. And again, as American citizens, patriots, everything else of the like, with true citizens, right? We have the right to be whatever. Be the power. We've said it many times. We don't have no issues with if you are a Democrat, if you're a Republican. You have the right to be whatever you feel is necessary. All we want to see from individuals, because we're policy focused, not party focused on be the power, right? And we understand it don't make sense and to think that we're going to get everything we need if we all just on one side of the aisle. So I understand the necessity. When I was running and when I was elected to office, I ran as a Democrat. I was a Democrat. You know what I mean? So there ain't no harm in that, in being a Democrat. The harm is in if you don't have no passion and nothing, no desire in your heart to represent the will of ADOS and now apply in our history. That's what I look for, and that's all I care about. So there ain't no shame in being Democrat. I don't really care if you're a Republican. If that works for you, might be in Mississippi somewhere or Alabama somewhere. And that may be the only way you can get some experience in the game and get your name out there. I don't care about that.
So,
just talk about reparations when you're out there.
That's right.
So Joe Biden has, I think he has Anna Navarro working with him now. I don't know if you guys heard anything about that.
No, that's the first time. So wait a minute, with Anna Navarro, who is a contributor for CNN and a Latino Republican at that.
She's working on the Biden campaign. She's working with Biden.
Wow,
yeah.
That's interesting. It seemed like they're going after the Republican vote. And I know there are places, I believe, like in Florida, where Latinos vote. I want to say 30%. I might be wrong on that number, but it's a pretty high vote. So, they're fighting.
He's having problems with the Latino vote, particularly in Florida, because it's a heavy Cuban population there. And we've talked about this on a number of occasions, Logic, about how the Cubans coming from Cuba, what their particular views are with regard to Democrats versus Republicans and everything like that. So yeah, he's having a problem with that. And I believe that him getting Anna Navarro, a Republican, she's always had problems with Trump anyway. So she's not one of those Trump Republicans. And she wants him out. So it was a smart move on his part, I guess. We'll see what it translates to.
Definitely. Yeah, so I mean, I was trying to see if anybody has some questions. Let me see. My pops asked the question we answered earlier. He said, if the sister is running as a Democrat, are they supporting her? Run with dollars? No, they're not supporting her at all. They have put their money behind Raphael Warnock. They put their whole political will actually behind Warnock, and we know that because Stacey Abrams supports him, and she is the epitome of what they call corporate Democrat or an establishment Democrat. Let me see if there are any more questions in the chat.
I actually did an interview right before your interview tonight with the Daily Burn, and he asked me about Stacey and her being a quote unquote progressive. I was like, Stacey Abrams was never a progressive. I mean, she's totally has always been an establishment Democrat. So I didn't. They try to grab words, when people run, they just try to be whatever they need to be to get elected. So I was like, she was never a progressive. Always been an establishment Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think we want to just say this again, because I believe we said it earlier in the show, but it needs more emphasis. You can't call yourself a progressive, and you sure can't call yourself a justice Democrat if you're not for justice for ADOS in the form of reparations. If you're not, if you're not, look, if you can't say you're progressive and you're against reparations, that don't make no sense. You can't say you're a justice Democrat if you're against justice for ADOS. I mean, with the most past due justice claim in the country. So I just wanted to reiterate that, because I think too many of us sometimes, well, before ADOS, a lot of us, including myself, was into the progressive platform, because we looked at it from the class politics standpoint of how certain progressive policies would give us a disproportionate benefit or stuff like that. And then we do the data and we see, hey, that's not the case. Class is not going to fix race. So I just want to reemphasize that. And it's very important that we have a sister out here. She may have some quote unquote progressive parts to her platform, but she's qualifying as, if anybody wants to call her progressive, she's qualifying, checking that box just by being for reparations.
Facts. And her immigration policy, to me, is spot on. There's a question that I have up on the screen. Since I'm here, one asks, are there going to be any televised debates?
Yes, there will be one, and it's not really a debate. They're more of a forum, mid-October. But we've been having forums. They don't necessarily debate. They give you a chance. They'll ask you a question and everybody kind of goes around and answer. And then they don't actually give you, if you say something about a candidate, that candidate can say, no, they don't do any of that. They just ask the questions and then you go around and let everybody answer. You ask the next question and go around. That's the extent of how we do politics in Georgia.
Definitely. I want to make a quick announcement as well, put a call out. We want to grow our platform, and we want to, and as you see what we're doing here with interviewing our very own senatorial candidate, it was because somebody, let me pull this comment up. Says, Cenk Uygur used to be Republican. I used to be all in TYT chat. So what they've done with that platform, and we have to acknowledge it because success leaves clues. So we acknowledge it for the success that it has become. I question their progressiveness. If they're not talking about reparations, I absolutely question if they are progressive, if they are Justice Democrats. But one of the things that we want to do is we want to start really expanding this particular platform, BTP, so that we could have our own news, if you will, our own anchors, our own political talking heads. So if you have any experience in that field, hit us up. Any journalistic experience. If you've ever ran your own platform and you like what we're doing here and you would like to take today's news and speak on it from a reparationist perspective, get in contact with us. You can contact us btplivecast@gmail.com. Again, that's btplivecast@gmail.com. We would love to expand this thing and let it grow once we, get to that point. So I wanted to put that call out to the people who are interested. So, Sister Tamara Johnson-Shealy, did you have anything else that you want to add before we let you go?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to talk to our ADOS family. This is my first time being live with, where everybody can see me and hear me. And I just want to say thank you. This is a conversation that we needed to have. I've been out here running, like I say, October will be a year. I started running right at conference. So I'm out here, and I need us this last 7 weeks. I need ADOS to really, dig in and ride this thing out with me. 7 weeks is right around the corner. I need you to continue to donate, give as much as you can, encourage other people to give, please. Like I said, we gotta stay in this fight on the ground. That's where our strength is, but we have to do media. When you get below Macon, I was going to say this earlier, when you get below Macon, they have the internet and the cell phone service gets very choppy in certain areas. So a lot of the people in these areas don't get the information. They won't see you, on YouTube. The internet costs money for them, like real money for them. So they don't get information the way we get information. So they still rely on radio and television, and they're watching these local radio, these local TV channels, and listening to these local radio stations. So I have to get on the airways where they can hear me and see me. And in my radio ad, I'm chanting reparations. It's a chant. It's really, I'm very excited about this radio ad because I'm chanting reparations in this radio ad. So people get a chance to hear the difference between me and the other candidates in this race. And someone just asked, I saw over in the chat, why was I in a race with 20 candidates? This is the race where I think we absolutely can win. I wasn't called to that Purdue race. My spirit didn't lead me to that one. And I was led to this one. And having 20 candidates in the race, 21 of us total, if you do the math, we said this early in the broadcast, you could win with a small margin of votes. Because there's so many of us, these votes are going to be everywhere. So this is a great race to be in, because at this point, the top 2 vote getters will square off in January. There will be a runoff. So all I got to do is get my numbers, and I'm real clear about where my numbers are. And these numbers are us. And there's enough of us to take me over the top. I just have to be able to reach them. So I just want to say thank you for you guys giving me an opportunity on this broadcast this evening. ADOS family, I love you. My heart is in this. We got a race to win, and I know we can do it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
This is like this. Our show, our program, rather, is about political education and teaching the things necessary to make our group better citizens, right? And actually giving examples on how to be the power. We know a great leader in our group, Brother Fred Hampton, said that power is the ability to identify phenomenon and make it act in a desired manner, right? So we have to act, right? That we have to identify the phenomenon, what we need. We've done that. Now we need to make it act in a desired manner. And without people like you, we cannot get that done, right? We've identified the phenomenon of inherited disadvantage. We've identified the phenomenon of the lineage or the racial wealth gap. We've identified the lostness connected with, of people whose inheritance and birthright was stolen after they built the richest and strongest country in the world, fought in every war, from patriots to Union soldiers and Union sailors. So we bled to create the country. We bled to keep the country together. And without people to represent that lineage at Capitol Hill, that history, that legacy, that memory will be lost. So this is a all hands on deck moment. This is a historic moment. And it's not how you start, but how you finish. And no one y'all don't be ashamed if you didn't get in the beginning of a race. You got an opportunity to make it right now. You got an opportunity to do the right thing right now. You still have opportunity to donate right now. You still got an opportunity to volunteer right now. And the voting isn't today, but you will have an opportunity to vote for the sister if you live in Georgia. So she told you how tight this thing is because of so many people running. So people who don't know about the politics, I hope she explained it very well to you about what a runoff could look like. If you get behind the sister, every vote counts in this situation right now. You could be a part of history. Don't you want to be one of the ones to say it was my vote that got the first ADOS senator into office. It was my contribution. You could tell your great grandchildren, I was the one who voted for her. When they have the sister and we do the lineage documentaries and we do all of that stuff, you can be a part of that. Don't miss this moment. Government is the game and politics is how it's played. And you can't win unless you get in the game. Let's all come together and help our sister get in the game and represent us. And with that, I say peace.
That's right.
Peace, peace. Brother Ali, you wanted to close out with anything?
Man, I just want to say, sister, I'm proud of you. I am going to be donating to you this evening. Make sure you get us that commercial so I can get it to my people. And it's on, man. It's on. We got you.
Definitely, Brother Josh.
I am a reparations.
That's right.
I am a reparationist.
Hey, we gotta be saying. There you go. Hey, that's the clip. We're gonna put that in the next Speedy Power highlight. Hey, look, that's she's the first ever senatorial candidate as a reparationist. Y'all better understand how powerful that is. I just wanted to just keep hammering that home. And the first of hopefully many. See, I hope she's able to inspire more people to pick up that mantle, because the only way this thing is going to change is because if we get a reparations Congress. And it can't just be about like my brother Logic saying, making trying to get the problem to be the solution. No, you got to get the solution in office. So with that, I say peace.
Peace. Man, I'm glad that you were able to make it on. I dropped the ball the first time, but it wasn't meant to happen then. It wasn't meant to happen then. It was meant to happen right now. It's just how destiny works. And we may call God by many different names, but at the end of the day, that God is the causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things come, no matter what name you call him by. And this moment right now, I believe, is a very important moment. Several factors have happened. The sister and I was supposed to come through our city, my city where I'm staying at right now, and we already had a plan. We was going to hit the barbershops, the salons, hit the streets. I'm rocking with you 100%. COVID happened, and for some people, it affected certain people in different ways, and I know that it affected me in different ways. Being from New York City and seeing rest in peace from like my New York City people all on my timeline after a while, every day, that started to get to me a little bit as well. But it halted a lot of different things for a lot of people. But I don't want to say there's been a blessing in this whole thing, but I can't think that there's not a silver lining in anything. And that silver lining appears right here, right now, with the fact that we have a sister who is an American descendant of the cruel and brutal institution of slavery, who is a reparationist, that is running for a senator's seat, a U.S. Senate seat out of the state of Georgia. And we have to do everything, everything. I see your chat, Sister Cynthia, your atheist little jab. I see you in there. But we need to get behind this sister 1,000%. That's why I called off any donations tonight that's going to the sister. Whatever they put in here, I'm going to calculate, and we sending it to you tonight as well. We're sending it to your campaign. So I don't really have too much to say other than that. Support our sister. Let's go. Let's ride with this sister until the wheels fall off, because she is helping to provide a blueprint. She is helping to provide us a pathway on what we need to do to be successful in that space, because you have your local elections and you have those elections at the federal level. This sister you're a trailblazer, sister. You are an absolute trailblazer. And I'm so honored to have you on with the Be the Power team this evening. And again, I'm gonna leave with the message: don't just fight the power, become the power. Then you'll have the power to make a change. And our sister is becoming the power. She is the power right now. And we just gotta give her some of our juice, some of our power to keep her campaign electrified. So with that, I say peace, sister. If you had anything that you wanted to say real quick, matter of fact, tell them how they can get in contact with you. Give them your Twitter handle, your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and any other social media platforms that you occupy.
Yes, sir. I'm at Tamara for Georgia on Facebook, Tamara Shealy on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. But you can go to my website, Tamara for Georgia, everything spelled out, FOR Georgia.com. Everything is there. And I just want to say thank you. I love you. If I could not do this, I cannot do this without ADOS. And I love you all and I appreciate you.
Love you too, sis. All right, family.
Yes,
Peace.